Guys, welcome back. So last time we talked about mathematics and, working with different numbers, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing them. However, you do remember, if you had seen the last tutorial, that when we used an integer and we divided it, we didn't get the correct number. We were supposed to get 2.33 repeating. However, we got 2. That's because we did 14 divided by 6. And I had explained that it's because an integer can't hold decimal values. Well, let's get to the point where we can hold decimal values. And that's possible using something called a double. Now, what a double is it's a really, it's a longer number rather than an integer for one, and it can hold decimal places. And that's what's important about it. Along with, I'm going to tell you about another variable called char or char. I think I'm almost positive it's char. So we will be learning about two, double and char. Those are the two we're going to be working on today. So let's get started. First, let's get started with the double. So the way you define a double is really close to int. You just type double, and then you name it. So what do we want to name my double? Well, let's name it, leaves. All right, and then we can set this equal to something. Let's say there's 20.5 leaves on my lawn, and I'm assuming that there is at least one broken leaf on my lawn. So what this means is it's kind of like the integer, except it has a decimal. So it's created a double named leaves, and it holds a value of 20.5. Now, how do we print this to the console? Well, first, instead of typing fruits, we're going to replace this with leaves, and you'll see that it's still returning an error. See how it's underlining %d? Well, let's click what this warning says. The warning is saying that the format is wrong. So you need to understand that there's different types of percent things in here. So %d, for example, is for integer. %f is for doubles and floats are another story, and I'll get to them later. So when we type there are %f fruits in my bag, it pretty much says there are 20.5 fruits in my bag. So to make this make a tiny bit more sense, let's say instead of fruits in my bag, leaves on my lawn. And let's end this program and start it again by pressing the run button. Alright, so this is what it printed out. There are 20.5 leaves on my lawn. Now you'll notice that it also had all of these extra zeros at the end, and the reason double does that is because it wants to be as accurate as possible. Doubles are normally used for mathematics in carrying, sensitive numbers that need to be really exact. So it doesn't really look very pretty when it's being printed out. However, it's still very helpful. Now, why did I teach you double? Sure, you can do decimals and that's important, but here's where the extremely important part comes in. You can still do math on doubles. So let's go back to our old example. We had fruits, we had an apple, and we had a pear. So I'm going to delete this double, and I'm going to create a new one. Let's create double apples, and then let's create double pears, and then let's create double fruits. Let's set apples equal to 14 and pears equal to 6. And then let's set fruits equal to apples divided by pears. All right, simple as that. Now, of course, we can replace leaves with fruits because we've changed the variable, and this is what will happen. Let's try running this. All right, here we go. So now this is a much more accurate number. It says there are 2.333333 repeating leaves on my lawn. So instead of just rounding down to 2, it actually printed the decimal and used the correct mathematics. All right, so that's enough about doubles. We'll be using them later, but not now. Let me move on to char. So char is actually short for character, and just like its name, it can hold a simple character. So let me make an example. Let's do char, and then let's type letter, and then we set it equal to whatever letter we want. So let's put a quotation, and then let's pass in a letter. Great. So right now we have A as our letter. Okay, simple enough. We could also do Z, we could do F, we could even do a hashtag if we wanted to, but let's stick with A. Now let's replace this nslog statement to make a bit more sense. Let's make it say, my favorite letter is, and then %F, comma, letter. Now you'll notice that it's going to be confused because you can't use %F here. You actually have to use %C this time. Once again, as I had stated, for different variables, you need different % signs inside your nslog statements. So let's run this. And you'll see it printed to the console. My favorite letter is A. All right, so that is basically how doubles and letters work. So what we did here, let me explain one more time, is we created a char. This char is named letter, and it accepts the letter A. Now, watch what happens if I put in many letters here, W-E-R. You'll see that it creates a warning, and it says you can't have more than one character inside a char variable. So if we print this out, it will obviously say my favorite letter is A, and that's all we need to know for now. So that's it for this tutorial, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.